Welcome to Imperfect Mommying. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Imperfect Mommying, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Phung Tran. Welcome, Phung. How are you today?
Hello, Alysia. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
So, like you said, my name is Phung Tran, and basically I am an exercise physiologist. And what I do is to help a lot of women, especially women of color, to, build confidence in their body image also, and then prepare for their exercise routine that's going to last them so that, it's going to help them now and then 4 years from now. And so, like my mission is basically just teaching people about the basics of, fitness and health, maybe like fight misinformations so that, like things that you like can do to get healthier. That's, like not like scammy or, make you feel bad about yourself as a person when you're trying to become a better person for yourself, because that's essentially what being healthy is. Like you're treating yourself much better. So yes, that's all that I do.
Perfect. And I love that this is your message, because I think that it's super important that we take care of ourselves, that we put our health first. I remember hearing something super impactful to me that said, if you don't make time for your health, you will make time for your illness. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, I think that's a newest quote that's been passing around for
Is
sure.
it?
I've seen it on Instagram. Like
Right.
a couple of my fitness friends has been posting about it, and I do agree with that. Yeah, because especially for me, like I come from I have very bad genes. Basically, we're talk like anything chronic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, like cancer, even that, like I'm predisposed to it. Like I know at least one or two people in my family that have it. And so for me, like example diabetes, like I think both of my grandmas have it. So
Mm.
I have a very high chance or risk of me getting it once I become much older. And I do want to sort of mitigate that with my lifestyle now, like just investing a little bit more, building up that inventory. And so when things start going down, I have a little bit more leeway to deal with it.
Yeah. So I would assume, most women were busy, and especially moms are busy. So
Mhm.
what are some tips that you have for our mom listeners, that to fit it into their schedule, to fit fitness and eating
Mhm.
proper nutrition? What are some tips that you have?
I would say, you probably know what you need to do. It's
Mm,
just, stop comparing yourself to other people.
mm,
And, a lot of moms will like compare like themselves, like what they do with their kids to like other kids, but also like you would start judging on yourself, like what you're eating. I know one of my cousin, she would post like very Instagrammable pictures of food. And like sometimes it's a lot to deal with all of that, especially when you have a child. So like it's time consuming. And so you would feel like, oh, I've fallen behind all these people. They have amazing food. Their kids are doing this and that, and I'm not. And the thing is like, when you start doing that, that's when you start losing yourself because you don't put yourself forward. You're not investing in yourself for you and your child. You're doing it to compare with like the Jones or whatever out there, you know. Now on Instagram, you can be like, oh, she's doing this, or I can't. Like now you're putting a lot of negativity on yourself to be like, oh, wow, why can't I not be healthy? But deep down, you know what you need to do. It might take a little bit more time. It might be like you need to relearn, you know, your habits, because obviously things happen and you lose it. Now you just have to relearn it.
Right. I would say that weight has been something that I've struggled with during my life. And something that has really kind of helped me recently is a girlfriend of mine. She said, instead of thinking of it as losing weight, think of it as like getting your sexy back or something along those lines, something that's more inspiring to you.
Right.
And just that little switch of the language actually has me thinking, oh, well, do I want to eat my shake or do I want to eat this piece of chocolate cake?
And yeah, I mean, a lot of things, you know, with losing weight is like about getting, you know, that perfect body. But let's say I ask you, if you gonna get healthier, but you become bigger, would you still do it?
Yeah, especially with that number on the scale. Like I love that number to go down and I get super irritated when that number goes up. But when you're going to the gym, a lot of times, I mean, I've actually seen a physical representation of what 1 pound of muscle looks like and 1 pound of fat looks like. And even if you're replacing a pound of fat for a pound of muscle, it's not changing the scale. But it's making a difference in your body.
Exactly. And so that's what's something I want to talk to you about too. Like, yes, losing weight, you know, like losing a little bit of fat, you know, like get back to your normal body fat percentage is great. But you shouldn't like attach that to your body, like how you look or what is on the scale. Like for me, you know, I'm trying to gain muscles, you know, I'm trying to, you know, work out strength. Obviously I'm gonna gain some weight because that's where all those muscles gotta come in somewhere, you know. Like I can't just be like, well, I'm gonna be small Phung here and still muscular and have no weight.
Right. So what made you so passionate about this? Was it your genetic history or was it something else?
So it started in high school. So it's more about body image. And obviously, you know, I was a kid, you know, like puberty was coming through, you know, I was looking at myself and didn't really like it too much because I was like ballooning up. I didn't know what to do. And so obviously, like any other young person, I looked online, you know, go on Google, Facebook, or Instagram now to look for like tips on how to like get healthier, how to like trim my belly fat, all of that stuff. And I found that they're pretty unhelpful in a way that, you know, say I'm Asian, right? So you know my name. If you're a podcast listener, you sort of heard my name, or you just listen to the video. And, you know, I eat rice every day. And one of the tips would be, you cannot eat rice if you want to be healthy. And I'm just like, wow. So I'm not like, I'm a kid, so I can't tell my mom to be like, okay, mom, you know what? I'm not eating rice anymore. And, you know, watch this. So, you know, I was a child. And so it was pretty harmful, especially for a kid who like, I couldn't control, you know, what was happening to my body. And I didn't know, you know, any better. And once I go to college, I'm just like, okay, just like, you know, jumping through different sort of majors to find. And then my counselor told me like there's a thing called exercise science and you might, you know, be interested in it because you want to do a lot with your body and then how things work. And that's what I did for 4 years, and then just learn things, actually like learn the anatomy, the physiology of things that's happening. Also, you know, the psychology of like how do I myself get through this hurdle to go back into working out, like being active again, because obviously a lot of us as a kid, we, have fun on the street, play around. And then as we grow older, that, didn't happen. And so I'm like, okay, how do I relearn those habits that I used to have? And, I was pretty successful. Now that I work, I pretty much, like I say, I exercise every day, but obviously different things every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my success. And I just want to pass this on to more people and be like, you can do it in your own way as well. It's just like takes a while for you to relearn what you need to do.
Yeah. And, one thing I've noticed kind of recently is that when we're kids, our parents tell us, go play.
Mm.
And at some point we decide, well, I'm too old to play.
Mm.
But how much more fun is fitness when it's something that's fun that you're playing at, instead of, I'm trying to get this last 10 pounds off, or in my case, 30. It's not as fun.
No. And it's harder to fit it in if you don't like it. If you associate, exercise with something that's negative, that you have to punish or push yourself into doing, then it's harder to like do it consistently over a long time. You should, because one of my clients, she started out, like a couch potato, didn't want to work out, was a pandemic, so like just staying at home. And now like she's the crazy girl who's taking like 2 kickboxing classes a day. And she told me, and I'm like, oh, good for you, but I'm not gonna do it, but I love that you like it.
Yeah. And think about the things that you loved when you were a kid. Like, what activities did you love as a kid? Like, did you love running around? Did you love, my son loves to swim, absolutely loves to swim. I get bored after about 5 minutes in the water.
Yeah, I think my local gym has like classes in the water for older adults so that we can sort of enjoy it again, like with a group of people, like at our own age too, like, you're not like watching your kids or, like being weird in the pool or anything, like you with a group of adults and you working out together. And I just love to see that class going.
Yeah. And there's a lot of classes. I think that a lot of moms think that I don't have time to go to the gym. And, in certain stages of our life, we may have less time to do it. But again, like I said earlier, in this famous Instagram post that's going around, is you make time for your health or you make time for your illness.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot of gyms that have daycares. And
Right.
there's a lot of gyms that have, mommy and me classes and stuff like that. And it's bonding time with your kids, and you get to meet other adults. Like, these are a lot of things that I hear moms complaining about, is I don't have the time for exercise and I don't have any friends anymore. And so this is kind of a 2 birds with 1 stone situation.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Because I know the gym that I worked at, they do have like a 1 hour daycare thing that's for free. Like, as long as you sign up to be a member, you just come in. And, I just love to see, mommy coming in, like just doing their thing. And maybe like daddy comes in too, like they can work out together, talk to people.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, you were talking about, where moms are comparing themselves to other people on Instagram. And I know that mom shaming is a big thing that goes on. And I hope it's something that's ending soon. And we're all realizing, hey, we're doing the best that we can. But I remember when my son was born in 2012, there was an article about a woman who had her 3 kids, and one of her kids was maybe 6 months old, and then there was a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, or I don't know the exact ages, but they were all pretty young, and she had this super muscular body. And the post said, "What's your excuse?" And you could imagine the outrage around this post, right? But then she did a follow-up post, I want to say 5 years later, same kids, same position, 5 years older, same body. And she rebranded herself and she put, "What's your reason?" And I loved that so much more. And I understood what she was trying to say in the beginning. Like, a lot of times we use our kids as excuses, as reasons not to do something. but what if you use them as your reason to do it? Because one of the things that I say is that kids aren't listening to the lecture, they're watching the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're out exercising and being active, so will they.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
they see that their mommy is doing it, like,
right, and
going to play.
where mom's going to play too, and it keeps mom happier. And my favorite line from Legally Blonde is, exercise causes endorphins, endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. They just don't.
I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, our culture, we did come from like, way of like comparing and punishment, like, why aren't you doing it? Like even with kids, like, why are you doing, like, you look at your friend, she's doing this, she's getting this award, why aren't you getting it? And we're sort of like condition ourselves to think that way. And I feel like the growth that we having now, either on popular media or even social media, is like we're moving away from that. Like, we're not shaming people,
Right.
or shaming kids or whatever. Like, we're not shaming anybody for their just like their weaknesses. We're like, okay, how do we fix it? What's the inner reason for you to keep going?
Yeah. And a lot of that is, people like to share the best of their lives on social media. So they're showing you the best stuff. They're not showing you the hot mess. They're starting to, and I love that they're starting to, and they're starting to be more real and authentic. So you can realize, hey, I am a hot mess. One of my favorite, women to follow is Rachel Hollis, because she gets on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Instagram Live, and she's got a baseball hat on and no makeup, and she's working out, and she's got the kids, and I love that so much for her authenticity. So Phung, tell me, what piece of advice would you give to moms specifically?
So my piece of advice is probably start small. Like, you are juggling with a lot of things. Like, there's no denying of that. And you have so many things going on that maybe health isn't your number one priority, which is all right. That's the first thing you need to think. You can start small. Like, maybe don't think that you can go to the gym right now. You can still do a lot of stuff at home with your child. There's so many, exercises on YouTube that helps you with that. So you don't even need to get, like, you can like have your baby and you work out together. Like, just start small. Like, the little things gonna add up later. So maybe once they grow older, be more independent, then you can start investing yourself a little bit more. There's no wrong with doing that. Maybe some other moms can leave their child in the daycare, but you can't. That's fine. This depending on the person. And so starting small, like doing the things that you can do now, figure out, okay, what exactly that I can afford to do now, and just do them. And then slowly, it's like a video games, you go from level 0 to level 1 and then level 2. Like, you just gonna slowly leveling up, and that's up to you.
Yeah. I really love that so much. And I have to be totally honest, because that's just who I am. I was a little hesitant about having a guest who talks about exercise and personal care, who's not a mom. Like, I even asked some of my mom's friends, and I was like, how would you feel about getting personal care and exercise advice from someone who's not a mom? And they're like, oh no, you can't do that. That will turn people off. But I'm so glad I decided not to say, never mind, we're going to cancel this interview, because I like that. What you just said is perfect. Like, you start at level 0 and you go to the next step, because what we like to do is the New Year's resolution mentality. So we go from nothing to all in, and I'm going to go to the gym for 8 hours straight. And it's like, not only is that unrealistic, it's not maintainable. But if you start with 15 minutes and go for a walk for 15 minutes every single day, and you do that for a week, and then you increase it for 15 minutes and get to 30, and then you increase it to an hour, and then maybe you add some weights. Like,
Yes.
little bit, like we're talking bite size. You can eat an
Yeah.
elephant one bite at a time.
Exactly. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for having me on. Yeah, I'm pretty honest. Like when you told me this is a mom podcast, obviously I have to be honest that I'm not a mom.
Yeah.
It is just what it is.
And that's okay, because you still have knowledge that you can pass on. Like
Mhm.
I don't even think that I've had that conscious thought of one bite at a time with
Mhm.
exercise.
Yeah.
And another thing that I have heard recently is that when you add something to your plate, take something else away, because
Right.
we all have a full 24 hours.
Mm.
So you don't want to get up an extra hour early and then stay up an extra hour late. Like if you're going to get up an extra hour early, you need to go to bed a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah.
Because it's that we just fill our plate with something. Now, a lot of us are filling our plate with Netflix. So you could take away the Netflix and throw in a walk, right?
Yeah. Just a little thing so you can do. Like obviously make it fun. Like you don't like a walk, you can just go on YouTube. There's just so many videos of workouts. Like you follow along workouts, so you don't have to like know what they're doing. You follow the instructors. It's for
Mhm.
free. So
Right.
5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing that. Just YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I think I follow like yoga by Adrienne. That
Oh my
Adrienne.
gosh, I was thinking about her.
I know, right?
I
She
love her
her
so much, and her dog.
I know. She's like the perfect place to start. She has
Yeah.
so many steps. And you're start slow with yoga, like work on your flexibility. That's an amazing thing that not a whole lot of people are working on either way. So you're actually getting better than those people like, try and do strength workout and then train themselves and then can't exercise for like a couple of months.
Right. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of personal development over the last 4 or 5 years, like pretty intense personal development. And I remember I hired a personal coach, and I had been in coaching for about 9 months. So I had 6 months with one coach and then 3 months with another. And I remember texting her saying, I don't feel any different. And she's like, really? What about this and this and this and this? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've we've done a lot of work. I know that, and I'm not discounting that work, but I don't feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did like 2 days in a row of yoga, and I swear to you, it was like happiness crack. I have described it as happiness crack ever since. And I really do believe that our body holds on to stuff and traps things. And so yoga is a way to release it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm I highly recommend yoga. I don't do it all the time, but I do recommend it. So I was going to ask you about recommending a book, but since you mentioned it, like you could recommend a YouTube video for exercise too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Yoga with Adrienne is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's super cute. She has her dog on the video most of the time. She does introduction videos. She does 30-day challenges. You know, um, that's all that I can think of at the moment. Is there anybody else that you recommend, or is she like your go-to?
For me, actually, I move on to like body weight. His name is the Bodyweight Warrior, and so it is more about doing the cooler things because obviously I'm younger.
Okay.
So like doing like pull-ups, handstand, and
Yeah.
as a woman, I want to do those. Like just look
Right.
how impressive it is, and like little Fong here can actually do pull-up like a man, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so that's who that I'm watching more often now because he has both strength training for those stuff, those cooler things, but also stretching videos as well. So I do more of the stretching because I love exercise so much that like these things I just need to watch through a bit and then I sort of know what to do, and I do a bunch of stretching with him as well. And so I would recommend him. His YouTube is Tom Merrick, I think. He's a guy in the UK, so pretty funny to watch.
Oh, and I bet he has a nice accent to listen to too.
I know. I follow him on Insta to like see how he'd remodel his kitchen and bedroom.
Oh, how fun. I love listening to British people, but I don't understand their humor as much, but I love listening to them talk.
It's very dry humor, and they just complain a lot. I think that's their humor. They complain.
So tell the listeners, Phung, where can they find you?
So obviously the easiest way for you to find me is actually on Instagram at beactiveiseasy. The grammar's wrong on purpose. I couldn't find the other name, so I put it in. But that is all, funny things, bite-sized content that you can follow, do right now. But also I do have a blog and on my website at beactiveiseasy.com. And, that is more in-depth stuff that you see, citation, more explanation, longer explanation. Yeah. And if you want to start small, like building the habits that I told you, and you don't know how to, actually have like a free habit forming checklist so that you can go through, check everything. It's just for one thing, like one priority at a time, one thing. And then you can just go through all that today to start, doing the small things that matters to you. And so that is also on my website as well.
Perfect. I love that. And so we'll have the website in the show notes, as well as the link to your Instagram. Thank you so much for coming today. It's been great. Like I said, I was a little nervous, but I think you killed it. So amazing job. And if you have any parting words, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, I just want to say thank you, for being accepting to a lot of other people to be on your podcast, because I know that it is your new project, your new baby that you want it to succeed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for coming and hanging out with us today. And we will see you next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Mommying. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AlysiaLyons.com. That's ALYSIALYONS.com. See you next time.